He was here before the first light bulb ever flickered. He was here before the telephone carried its first crackling hello. He was here before the Eiffel Tower rose above Paris. He was here before cars replaced carriages and before airplanes touched the sky. He was even here before the very idea of the Civil War. Well, he is Jonathan, a giant tortoise who has been alive for 193 years. He has seen the world go from sails to space travel, all without leaving his lawn on the island of Saint Helena. Jonathan hatched around 1832 in the Seychelles. No one wrote down the exact date because in the 1800s, people weren't exactly mailing out "It's a boy" cards for tortoises. Decades later, in 1882, he was brought to Saint Helena as a diplomatic gift, already about 50 years old, the reptile version of middle age. Saint Helena is a remote volcanic island in the South Atlantic, famous as the final exile of Napoleon. When Jonathan arrived, the island was still very much in its colonial era, with no cars, no electricity, and communication by ship. He stepped off the boat into a world where the fastest thing was a galloping horse. From the start, Jonathan's life was set to a rhythm most humans would find painfully slow. His priorities were straightforward: find a good patch of grass, eat until satisfied, take a nap, and repeat. While human history charged ahead with revolutions, inventions, and wars, Jonathan's world revolved around the seasons and the quality of the lettuce. When he was young, Charles Darwin was still gathering evidence for his theory of evolution. When Jonathan reached 70, the Wright brothers took their first flight. By the time he turned 100, television was being invented. Today, at 193, he lives in a world where people carry computers in their pockets and argue with strangers on social media. Jonathan's home is the lush grounds of Plantation House, the residence of Saint Helena's governor. There, he shares space with a few younger tortoises who treat him with the kind of respect you'd give to someone who has seen 20 monarchs and 40 US presidents come and go. His caretakers describe him as calm, dignified, and still curious. His favorite foods are carrots, cucumbers, bananas, and cabbage. Despite his age, Jonathan is not a fragile relic. He moves slowly, but with the steady confidence of someone who has been doing this for almost 2 centuries. Time has, of course, left its marks. He is blind from cataracts, his sense of smell is vital now that his hearing has faded, and his beak has worn down over the years. To help him, his caretakers cut his food into manageable pieces. Watching him eat is oddly satisfying, a reminder that happiness doesn't require complexity. Jonathan officially holds the Guinness World Record for the oldest living land animal. His record doesn't come with a trophy, but it has made him a celebrity. Tourists come from across the globe to meet him, take photos, and post them online. His face even appears on local currency and stamps, a fitting honor for a national treasure. What's remarkable is not just his age, but what his age represents. Jonathan is living history, a bridge between centuries. He is a biological time capsule from an era when life was entirely different. Yet he's still here, unchanged in his habits, quietly outlasting everything that was once considered modern. Scientists find his longevity fascinating. Giant tortoises often live over 150 years, but Jonathan has surpassed even that. His slow metabolism helps preserve his body. His lifestyle is free from the chronic stress that shortens human lives. And his environment is stable, with caretakers ensuring he has everything he needs. The contrast between Jonathan's life and ours is striking. We measure time in meetings, deadlines, and news cycles. He measures it in sunrises, seasonal rains, and the next good meal. His survival offers a kind of wisdom. Maybe life isn't about squeezing in as much as possible, but about lasting long enough to enjoy more of it. On his 190th birthday, the island threw a celebration. He got a feast of his favorite vegetables, and the community turned out to honor him. The party wasn't just for Jonathan. It was for the living history he represents. A reminder that the world is older, bigger, and slower than our calendars suggest. If Jonathan could speak, what would he say? Would he talk about the ships he saw arrive in the 1800s? Would he describe the night sky before light pollution? Or would he simply advise, eat well, avoid drama, and take your time? It's tempting to think his longevity is a mystery, but perhaps it's just common sense that humans forgot. Jonathan's care in recent years has included adjustments for his age, softer food, regular veterinary checkups, and lots of space to roam. Even now, he moves around his grounds daily, finding sunny spots for warmth and shaded corners for rest. His determination to keep moving, even slowly, is part of what keeps him healthy. In a world obsessed with speed, Jonathan's existence is a kind of protest. He has never rushed to meet a goal, never panicked about a deadline, never compared his life to anyone else's. He is living proof that sometimes longevity is about avoiding unnecessary battles and focusing on the essentials. Of course, Jonathan's life will one day come to an end, as all lives do. But his story will endure in photographs, in research, and in the memories of those who met him. He has become more than just a tortoise. He's a symbol of patience, resilience, and the quiet dignity of time well spent. So the next time you feel like life is racing past you, think of Jonathan. Remember that 2 centuries can be lived one slow step at a time. That a good meal, a safe place, and a calm mind might be the real secrets to a long life. If you enjoyed meeting the oldest living land animal, subscribe for more stories that remind us history is not only in books. Sometimes it's grazing peacefully on a lawn in the South Atlantic. And in the comments, tell us, what's the first question you'd ask Jonathan if you could sit beside him for an afternoon?